Let me just start.
Hi.
He doesn't need it.
No, I just wanted to introduce him. Can you see us, Joe?
Okay, Gail, let's not do that. We just need to talk. It's 7:37. Tree committee meeting for July is called to order.
Do I have a motion to open the meeting or not? Do you do
Oh, may I have a motion to open the meeting? Marlene?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Joe seconds. And first thing we're going to do is vote on last month's minutes. And before we actually do that, those of you who may not know, Ellen, this was her last act for us. She moved abruptly to Colorado, which was one way to get off the tree committee. So she did these. But is there anyone who would like to take minutes?
I could take minutes. Let me just get a pad. Be right back.
Okay. Well, no, I need you to vote on the current minutes. Okay, you're here.
I'll take minutes.
So may I have a motion to, I assume you all had a chance to review the minutes. Would someone move to approve them?
I move to approve them.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Gail, and I think both of you did it. So I'll take Joe again, just show your
Okay,
here.
I move to approve.
Yeah, and then Joe seconded.
Okay.
I'm going to rearrange this agenda a little bit because we have a couple things we need to vote on. And the first one is down under public and private tree removals, 1040 Nautilus permit appeal. It's the third item there. And the situation here is that the resident—
Sorry, what is the address?
1040 Nautilus.
Thank you.
And the resident, he's actually not living there yet, the property owner had filed for a permit to remove 2 trees in the front yard, which Jerry denied. And then he asked for an appeal. But in the course of all of this, the land use board realized that in fact, he had gone through the planning board in 2020 and had an approved landscape plan in which these trees figured. So they were part of his plan. So he is going to go back through the planning board, but he would like us to put his appeal on hold. We don't have a formal process for that, but I thought, rather than just hang out with it, we could vote to set it aside so that if he is not satisfied with the action by the planning board, he can come back through his appeal process.
Doesn't
Teresa, that was okay. She emailed me.
Teresa doesn't he appeal it? Doesn't he appeal it to Jerry, not to the tree committee?
Well, Jerry designated us for the appeal. He's allowed to designate.
Okay.
So he did that. Anyway, so I would like someone to make a motion to place the appeal of 1040 Nautilus Lane, the appeal of the permit, on hold pending review and action by the planning board.
I make such motion.
Gail, thank you. And who would like to say something? Marlene or Joe? That's you.
Second.
Okay, Joe, thank you. You're busy tonight. Okay, thank you. Everyone in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you, Krishna.
Aye.
You don't get to vote, Krishna, but that was
I
cute.
get the vote. Okay.
We appreciate the vote anyway.
I'll be right back. I have to go grab something. I'll be right back.
Don't drop our link.
I won't.
Okay, the second thing that,
Do we have to have all in favor for minutes approval?
yes.
We didn't do that.
Okay,
I approve.
We've never done that, but we may as well do it.
I approve. Joe seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Thank you. Krishna, you want to vote?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Actually, Nora's back. That's good, because the second item that I wanted to make sure we covered tonight was the, where are we? Oh, down under the tree law. Something that I this is in addition to the agenda, I believe. Several months ago, it was in the winter, we approved a few changes to the law, mainly that had been recommended by the planning board. One of them was asking for the planning board to be able to set up a tree bank. The others were to make it consistent. And then we've also talked about a few other changes. The village attorney had a few comments about these, and Nora can summarize them.
Yeah, let me just find my notes. He said he had comments at the meeting, and he thought he was going to try and come tonight, but he can't. So in section 192, section 1 of the revised law, which is 192-5B1, he just wanted to make sure that the tree preservation plan as adopted or created or required by the planning board is only when trees are proposed to be removed. So it wouldn't be every instance. So if the applicant doesn't propose to remove trees, they wouldn't have to do a tree preservation plan. Just want to clarify that. Okay. And I think that's the kind of language. So he wanted to make sure that was your intent. And if it is, we can just let him know that.
Okay.
So
it was.
Was okay. And then the tree bank where the planning board can require a payment into the tree bank if the applicant cannot provide enough.
In their opinion.
He wanted to know who's going to determine that. And I mean, I think your intent was the planning board.
My intent was that this was solely for the planning board.
Is that with everyone else too? That way we can just let him know and he can make sure the language reflects that.
Yeah.
That sounds fine by me.
Okay. And then the final one is the one we discussed maybe 2 months ago now.
Yeah. Which
is what happens when a tree falls due to natural causes. And Beverly had been thinking about that. We had said Jerry initially thought that this happened in the last 3 or 4 months, and Jerry had required the applicant to get a tree removal permit, but the village attorney doesn't think that that's necessary. So I think but we did think that we think, at least I think, let me be correct, that we need photographic documentation of the broken part, because Jerry, for example, can just look at it and know whether it was cut down or blown over. But what if somebody, I guess the question, I know your concern had been if somebody has to get a permit to remove a tree that's fallen, or just even an after the fact one, because it would be considered. Yeah, I think we put that in as a formality and everybody seems upset about it. At least some people do. I think our intention, because we're not attorneys, our intention is to make sure that every tree that comes down in the village is not, quote unquote, a windfall. Right. And so we thought that the process, we'd go through the permit process with the documentation. However, people who are smarter than I am think that you can't ask for a permit for something that's already happened. But I do think the documentation is important because, as I said, that's the way we'll be sure that every tree that comes down wasn't a windfall on a Saturday.
I agree with that, because I remember an instance where somewhere in the village, a tree came down that hadn't been, I don't know, there was some complaints about the tree, and then it wasn't even a storm, it was a rainy evening, and then all of a sudden it was said that the tree came down because of that. But I would have liked to see, evidence of that.
And the other reality is that trees do disappear without permits on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. So that's what we want to be. And of course, we don't even know, the village doesn't even know about all of them, but when it does know about them, that's a violation. And the same thing should be true of these windfalls, because if the tree just disappears, the owner can say it was a windfall if anyone questions it. So can you tell him, for example, what our intention is?
And see if
he can make it pretty?
Yeah, I mean, okay. or you, I mean, or you can, I mean, probably would be better if we just
talk to him?
Try to, well, no, I mean, just sort of try to give me something. What do you want me to say? As a, I mean, give me some.
We want some kind of evidence that the tree, some kind of photo of the tree falling, the fallen tree, of the fallen tree.
As it's falling on you, but
no, a photo of the fallen tree.
Yeah. I like photo documentation of the tree, including exactly where the tree broke, the roots, you know, we would like to see as much evidence of how it fell.
And what happens if they don't do that?
Then it's considered a violation like any other.
That's the question. How does he do that? Okay. Okay.
If there's time to have somebody come in and remove the tree, there's time to take a photo of it.
Yes, you could take it with your cell phone.
That's a good point.
So yeah. So how about
10-year-old cell phone? You know?
Yeah.
How about if Beverly or Gail sums up those 3 points and just we send a note to Bob so that we're all on the same page. Good.
Should we vote on doing that or not?
Yeah, I mean, you could vote on doing it. I mean, we're just gonna, this is just gonna be make recommendations. So when the DOT discusses it, those 3 points are, it's clear what you want and it's clear what Bob thinks. And then hopefully the DOT will be, everybody will be aligned.
I make a motion for such a email to be sent to the board of directors, summarizing the 3 points.
Second.
And Bob and the attorney. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And Bob.
Okay. Recommendations. Okay. So it was moved and seconded. Should we vote? All in favor?
All in favor.
And 2 more.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think those are the things that I really wanted to make sure we got at the beginning. So I would suggest that we go back to the correspondence and try to get as much of it done as we can until we lose our quorum. And then I just don't want to get into the situation we did at the beginning of the pandemic when like 5 months of business has to get consolidated into one meeting. So the first item of correspondence was from the resident at 130 Beach, saying that our planting of new trees shows implicit bias.
I'm sorry, what was the address?
130 Beach.
130 Beach, I'm out of practice here, okay.
Okay, and actually I think you had some correspondence about that, Gail?
Yeah, I had correspondence from Stuart about, this implicit bias. I asked him, that we're not planting in areas that really need trees. We are aware and have been aware for a long time that there are areas that need trees. We cannot find any right of way that will support a tree. I asked, I emailed Stuart if he could please send us some addresses. We'd be happy to know about a right of way location. And he responded with a list of sites that Bev had, that we had put together back in 2020, that none of them were in the area that needs trees the most.
So
where we are, so there we are. If anyone knows of a place, Center Street, that whole neighborhood, Washingtonville neighborhood, they very much need trees.
Yeah, and actually I'd like to add that there are a couple other neighborhoods, a similar situation like the strip along Halstead. Really needs trees. There's no place to put them. So, I mean, we want recommendations from people.
That tree along Halstead,
yeah,
I think you should send a note to Dan Sarnoff. We received a big a TAP grant, a New York State grant to improve the sidewalks there. So there may be plantings involved in that. So I would just it would be good for the tree committee to remind Dan that one of your goals is to, I mean, not that he doesn't know what the tree committee does, but.
Well,
So what is the grant for, Nora?
Was a grant for sidewalk improvement along Halstead Avenue. It was a pretty big, pretty sizable grant. We got it about 3 weeks ago now.
Okay.
Where I live.
Yeah. So it may provide more opportunities for planting.
Okay.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple blocks that don't have a sidewalk on North.
Right.
well, there must be a right of way though. The right of way we can, you know, actually not having a sidewalk is good from our perspective because we could plant there. I don't know those addresses though. I think we put 2 in a couple years ago at one house, Sean given us. But actually, Krishna, if you can give us addresses for locations like that, we could deal with them right away. The bigger problem is when there is a sidewalk and there's no ground where we have a public right of way to plant trees. Sometimes there's, you know, a strip that's 6 inches wide or 4 inches wide. Sometimes there's nothing.
Like
so,
from South Barry or from North Barry down to Mamaroneck Avenue, you know, on one side, it's just all pavement.
yeah,
There's nowhere to put a tree in the public, you know, in the right of way. There's, yeah. And that gets, you know, I think about all the places where you don't walk because it's too hot and uncomfortable. Those are all the places that need trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One such area for me used to be Stanley Avenue, which now has loads of trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did a big planting there. And actually I've got some more locations I want to put in one of the upcoming lists.
Okay.
Okay, the next item in correspondence is also from 130 Beach, and it's some correspondence with the building inspector about something about the Board of Architecture review. To be honest, I couldn't follow it.
We've lost Joe.
Oh, does that mean we have to adjourn?
Well, we don't have a quorum until.
Okay, well, we're not voting on anything now.
Right, but you can't, I guess, I mean, I guess you can.
We can't vote.
We can't vote, but I did all the voting items.
People have access, people have public access to this meeting. It's being recorded.
But I think the point is you can't conduct public business without a quorum. So whether or not you're voting, it's not, you have to have a quorum to conduct a meeting. So there's no longer a quorum.
We have to adjourn, but we got our voting done.
Wait to see if Joe can come back on.
I suspect not because he's working.
Said he would be here for a short time only.
Sarah hasn't shown
Wow.
up, but you know, she can't come after 8 o'clock anyway, and it's 7:55.
It's disappointing.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry,
I think
Krishna.
No, it's okay.
you got the idea. We had actually a robust agenda, and everybody told me you were too tired for a long meeting, so we will push it to the next. Should we schedule a new meeting before?
The next, let me pull up the calendar.
And how long can we meet online?
You know, it's month to month.
I know, but this one, how long does this month go?
It doesn't go till our next meeting. I know that.
I know. I'm suggesting that we have a second meeting.
August 13th.
Which is what day of the week?
It's a Monday.
No, August 13th is.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's a Saturday.
Can I?
We are having on August 8th, we are having a hearing so that we can conduct meetings via Zoom. And if that's adopted on August 8th, then we would be able to continue probably in that next week, we'd be able to continue if they'll be sent to the Department of State. So it's, you know, we're trying to set up a situation where committees can meet via Zoom, but 3 people have to be in a place the public can access. Well, not 3. You have to have for 3 for the Board of Trustees. A quorum has to be in a place that people can access.
Oh, so it's just dial-in for 1 or 2 people.
Well, that's pretty much the whole tree committee.
You don't have to be in the same place, but you have to be willing to let people come to your house to a meeting.
That's
Or
not
wherever
happening
you
in
are.
my house.
Well, we'll figure it out. At any rate, should we, I mean, what's your thought? We're not voting on this, but we are trying, should we push this until our regular August meeting? Or which would probably make everybody really upset with me? Or should we try to schedule a meeting before that, you know, like in the week of the 8th?
You know, August 25th is the last week in August. I'm not sure I'm going to be in town.
Well, that would be after we can definitely meet online anyway. I would like to do it. Oh, you mean for the regular meeting?
Well, August 25th is, I mean, I just don't know that I can host a Zoom meeting that night if we're even able to do Zoom.
How about the 11th or the 18th?
I am remarkably unbusy both of those times.
I'm available both. Marlene?
I could do the 11th or the 18th.
Let's do the 11th because I realize I actually am a little bit busy earlier in the evening.
I would pick the 11th because you can definitely meet online.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Do I even include this in the minutes if
Yes,
the meeting has
our next
ended?
meeting is going to be, which will be a continuation. Is that what we call it?
We'll have to send a note. The other thing I would suggest is the Board of Trustees meets on August 8th, and you should try and get a new member by then.
I know. We're working on it.
So we would need early, you know, hopefully the Board of Trustees can appoint a new member that night.
Yeah.
That will make a difference.
The new member will have to submit a resume and a letter of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I have one person that has been, I understand, has shown a lot of interest in joining the committee. So maybe she'll do it. I will find out. And Nora suggested also that we try to get Sarah Robertson to come back on, which is a long shot, but maybe she'll do it as a kindness.
Well, you don't have to blame it on me.
Of course I'm going to blame it on you. I don't want to blame it on me. Okay, so first we're going to adjourn tonight. It is, well, we haven't adjourned yet, but we are.
You have 2 open seats.
I know.
So you need.
Oh, we have 1 open seat.
No.
Who's open?
You
have Sarah on your list?
Oh no, Sarah's on the list because she hadn't, but now she signed, so she's on it. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And that's not Sarah Robertson, different Sarah.
That's a different Sarah. Okay, so we have 1 open seat, but because we have several members who have a lot of basically business commitments that they hadn't expected to be having at this time, and they're frequently not able to join, we're going to look for someone who can, like Ellen, who, you know, is both interested and available. And, you know, okay. So can we schedule our next meeting, which was a continuation of this meeting, for the 11th of August?
Is that in lieu of the 28th or the 25th, whatever that date is?
Yeah, I think maybe we'll give ourselves the rest of August off, and then I'll do an agenda for September. Sarah says she's here. Can you let her in for a minute? And
well, then you can.
Krishna, you're welcome to come back Thursday, August 11th.
Okay.
She should be a panelist now.
Hi, Sarah. Actually, since you're here, we have a quorum. Maybe
we have a quorum. Don't go, Krishna.
Okay.
But you have, Sarah, are you going to have to drop off in a couple minutes or not? I can't hear you.
We can't hear you. You're muted.
Am I going to what?
You had told me originally you needed to leave at 8 o'clock. However,
okay.
You know, I have like.
We'll keep going as long as we can.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're not adjourning. We may or may not meet on the 11th.
Okay.
See how we do.
So let's continue. We were at 130 Beach correspondence.
Okay, and that was correspondence with the building department about 1044 Cove Road. I didn't really understand exactly what they were talking about, so.
1040 Cove Road?
1044.
1044 Cove Road?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's in the record.
Okay.
629, the fairway is attachment 4. I'm sorry, this is not in my mind. I can look at it and tell you what it is.
May I make a suggestion?
What?
If these are not things we need to vote on, can we let Krishna speak and then come back to these
Sure.
things?
Oh, Krishna, did you actually want to say something?
Well, nothing in particular. I mean, I did have some ideas. I don't know which ones to share, but you know, there's a lot that I don't know about the tree committee. Mostly that was what I'm learning. I didn't know things were so sort of technical, and you know,
the rest of it's not.
yeah, right. Just there's a lot of things I'm not familiar with. I've never been in, you know, anything to do with the local government or, you know, any association that's doing things for the community like this. So
On the other hand, you've probably grown more trees than all of us put together.
oh,
So
well, when it
that's
comes
really
to
important.
trees, I do have I have a lot of interest in trees, and I'm planting many on a farm in upstate New York.
Wow. Okay.
I have a interesting background with wood. You know, I make furniture, some cabinetry, and heat with wood. In my childhood, I heated with wood, and I'm familiar with a lot of different wood species, but much to learn.
Okay. Well, I couple things that I want to say. First of all, none of us came onto this committee knowing a lot about trees. I think it's fair to say. So we've all learned. You probably know more than we did starting, and we've learned a lot as we go. Our initial endeavor when I joined, which was 11 years ago, was to start planting trees, small trees around the village, street trees and park trees, because they'd been coming down for a number of years and hadn't been replaced. And the village has been very good about doing that. As you heard earlier, though, you know, it's still a big effort of ours, and recommendations of locations, even if you're not doing it formally, is really helpful, because you know, we don't see everything.
You also had some interesting comments, Krishna, which you shared with me about procedure, like, you know, ways to certain improvements or suggested improvements in how trees are cared for, planted, etc. I don't know if you want to talk about
Right. Well, I'm sure that you know much better than me, but in my own process of planting trees in the country, I've been doing it for about 2 years now. I've learned ways of doing it more effectively, more efficiently, and you know, improving germination and improving the likelihood that the trees will survive. And Gail was mentioning some budgetary concerns, and I was thinking maybe there's ways to, you know, maybe perhaps with the right technique, choosing either species that are better suited, or could be planted a little younger, a little smaller, a little less expensive, maybe using different techniques that improve their survivability to maybe work within a constrained budget to do more with less, just as an idea, you know.
No, I think that's a good idea. And in fact, we did a test about 2 years ago of bare root trees, and they all did really well. So we are in fact going to do a lot of bare root planting this fall, which is what you're talking about, younger trees, smaller trees, and they fit into their spaces better, and they cost less. So you're
and they adapt better to their new location, having being bare root.
Yeah. And I was thinking, you know, also like staking. I think when you mentioned that there was a property that you put 2 trees on, that actually might have been my own on Halstead here.
Oh, maybe. Did you get 2 trees a few years ago?
Yeah, actually 3 altogether. One on Florence side, and then 2 on.
That was us. That was us.
Yeah. Thank you. They're wonderful.
Good.
And I look at the one right on the corner, and I'm always a little nervous because there's a lot of accidents on that corner. And I know it's just, it's very vulnerable, I'm going to say, because the curb is not big. It's like a, so anyway, you know, it's done well. No cars hit it. And hopefully it'll stay that way. It's only about 12 inches from the curb. And it only takes as a sloppy driver to.
We have some locations where people have requested trees and we just won't put them in for exactly that reason.
Yeah, I imagine, yeah. Right, so it seems like, you know, maybe if that tree was staked better, for example, maybe it would make cars more aware to not hit it. I mean, just an example. I don't know. Like if you're gonna
plant, because once it gets bigger, they'll see it, but they might.
Yeah, like if you're gonna plant a tree in a playground or say a park area, I think that if it was a smaller tree, less expensive, but with more obvious staking, maybe that would prevent some of, you know, a person with a lawnmower coming running it over or something, you know. Maybe there's ways to sort of do it with a lesser budget. It's just an idea that I had.
Yeah,
those are
good idea.
Any more? We also have are you interested in pruning trees? Because we do pruning workshop in the fall.
Yeah,
volunteers,
sure.
And we really need volunteers. That's to go out to the really new tree, not the first couple years that they're in the ground, because they need all their leaves. But, you know, we don't have enough people really, and these trees, you know, suddenly start obstructing sidewalks and people break
Sure.
not knowing that that's damaging. But, you know, if you were interested in coming to the workshop, we don't have a date for it yet. It would be in October probably.
Yeah, I would like that.
And that would be wonderful. It'd be a huge help because, you know, these are working trees. So, you know, they do need, you know, they can't obstruct things, and they just need to be attended to. And as I said, a lot of them are not, and then people get upset with them. So
that'll increase survivability also if they're pruned. And we don't do the high pruning, just, you know, it's to prevent somebody who would understandably be annoyed if there's a branch like sticking out towards their face and then it's just snapping the branch. They could get infected, diseased, and which could spread, versus us pruning it, you know, in a prescribed manner that's healthy for the tree.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I'm not, you know, I know how to prune an apple tree, but I'm sure that these trees have different needs.
They're not, you know, I mean, I'm not sure that they do really.
Yeah.
Anyway, come to the pruning workshop. We'll let you know.
Okay, that'd be great.
And okay. Anything else, or shall we?
That's all.
Okay, good.
You're welcome to stay. I just didn't want you to feel like, you know, that you had to stay before you could speak, you know.
Okay, next one in correspondence is 629 The Fairway. It's a house that had a large tree taken out sometime on the corner, and he wants replacement trees. That's what's attached. It's just conversation to that effect. Then 1505 is sort of ongoing.
I'm sorry, I can't write that fast.
I'm sorry, 1505. I know if you had the agenda, you weren't expecting to do this. If you had
okay, it was 629 Fairway and 1505
Stony Brook.
Okay, got it.
This is ongoing. We've talked about this for several months. They put in a permit for, I think, 11 trees to be removed. Initially, you know, it's clear cutting, and Jerry denied it, but they came back, appealed it, and he decided to, you know, go with the report of their arborist that these were potentially hazardous trees for 10 of them, and one of them, he said, could not be removed. But what they did is they cut out the 10, and now the correspondence for the last couple of months is that they don't want to plant the replacement trees that are part of the permit that they signed. And this is just the latest edition on it. Actually, there was another one today. They say they're appealing to the Board of Trustees. I don't know whether they've actually done it. Then 822 the Parkway, Gail. This one is a tree. Marlene actually spotted it the minute the tree was taken out. It was a street tree. It was a calorie pear that was dying, and the people wanted it removed. In addition to that, there was a small white oak, probably from the Daniel Warren Tree Nursery, that was very well established, very close to it. It will flourish. Anyway, the village removed it, and the people are very, very grateful. They have not only written a thank you note, which is attached, but one of them followed me down the street one day. I don't really know them, but he saw me with my little tree committee vest on, followed me down the street and thanked me for doing it. They're relieved, and the white oak is perfectly protected, so everybody's happy and well.
Oh, great. Okay, I was going to ask if that was removed too. So just
no. They
pear
did
was
a very
removed.
good job of protecting that while they took out the other tree, and it was not easy because the two trees are pretty close together. So thank you. It's always nice to get thanks, and I forwarded it to Jerry and Jeff on. Old business. Jerry's not here, so I wanted him to tell us how the village wishes to approach the fact that they now have a budget for maintenance pruning. I'm sure they have plenty of trees in mind, but I was just curious. The next one.
Hang on, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I do very longhand. Okay, maintenance pruning. How?
Question. We're not dealing with it because Jerry's not here.
Okay.
The next one was actually your question, Gail, asking for, there was a tree that didn't look really healthy. Jerry said it was a calorie pear, it would improve.
Where?
I don't know, it's on the attachment, I'm sorry. But actually that's not the calorie pear one, I'm sorry, mulch maintenance. Let me look at it. Mulch maintenance. It's still from you, Gail. 4 trees near Richbell that have mulch piled up around the base. They are in fact village trees. Jerry responded there, but Jerry responded that they are village trees. We planted them last year. And he said that the village would remove the mulch away from the, the trunk.
Okay.
So I don't know whether they did or not, though. I don't know if you've seen them.
Okay, I have not.
Okay, so that was a follow-up. Again, Jerry's not here. And then another question for Jerry. We're going to skip 400 Orienta, where the tree roots were disrupting the sidewalk. Then these are all follow-ups with him. Orienta and Sylvan, you reported.
There's a dead tree on Orienta. It's been there quite some time.
I imagine that he put it on the list. They have a list of removals, but I don't know whether it's actually come out. The same thing for 430 Orienta. There is a cluster of pine trees that needs to come out. I don't know. I mean, maybe we can just drive over and see if they are still there.
I'll see them tomorrow when I drive to work.
Okay, look for them. I know they have a removal list, and they, the contractor who does it just goes through them in order.
Actually, I was there this morning, and they were still there this morning.
Okay, so
both of them. That singular one, because I do see it every day. Okay.
Okay, so basically there are 5 things. I'll send an email to Jerry asking about what's happened. Or what, I mean, if obviously it hasn't happened, but if they're on the list. And then the last one, Gail, this is you again. They're 511 Prospect. A tree that has trouble on its leaves and some other things, and you sent it to him asking what you've done. He said it's a calorie pear. It will be fine. This isn't fatal, but it would improve with watering and mulching, which then I pointed out that calorie pears are really bad invasives, and I didn't think it was worth doing any work on. We have other things that need work. Is that more or less?
I thought there was something that the resident had planted that tree and it's not our responsibility.
Well, no, it's our responsibility because it's in the right of way, but we didn't plant it. It's a calorie repair. We don't plant them because they're invasive aliens. I just would leave it alone, personally.
Mm-hmm.
That's my advice. And, you know, Lord knows Parks Department has enough other stuff to do, so.
They are busy.
Yeah. Okay, moving to public and private tree removals. I attached as 12 a list. We're not going to go over it, but it's for your information. The list of, it's an ongoing list of trees that have come out in the village. It's mixing the public trees that the village is taking out with, you know, applications. It's just for your information, so we know what's going on. It summarizes the month.
So that just to summarize, like have a list of these?
Yeah, it's a list that you can refer back to it if you
Okay.
ever want to know what trees.
Is there a list?
Yeah, that's what attachment 12 is.
Okay.
It's my list.
Okay.
515 Prospect. I don't know who this came from, but there was
515.
Yeah, Prospect. Which one's Prospect? Right-of-way tree was topped. Did anyone send that in? That sounds like a Marlene. No? Okay, let me look at it. Kristen, we only do this once a month.
You glitched out there, Bev. What did you say?
This isn't all we do. We do a lot of interesting things. We don't just.
No, this is very interesting for me.
Okay. Thank you. 515 is attachment 13, bad number. From Gail. Okay, it's a tree. Is a photograph attached. It is a tree in the right of way that was topped. Obviously, you can tell by the growth pattern. And your question is, can a violation be issued if we didn't see it? They've done that for other trees and it's clear that they've been topped. But I don't know whether one went out for that one. So I'll add that to my follow-up list. The next item we have already discussed, which is the situation with the 1040 Nautilus Lane permit appeal. We voted to put it on hold pending the planning board.
I'm sorry, 1040 was it?
Yeah, Nautilus, we've already done that. We did
the Nautilus, okay.
And 705, the Parkway, a tree was removed on a Saturday without a permit. And again, you know, did the village follow up? It was reported with a violation notice. So I'll follow up on that one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that I will email Jerry about asking for the status. I'm not going to ask him about the maintenance pruning plan. I think that's a conversation. And I'm sure they have it under control. Tree law. Oh, here's another one for him. We talked last month about having the permit posted by the property owner. I would imagine that has to be put on the permit itself to post it. That way we don't, I mean, Marlene doesn't have to call the police every time she sees one.
Should be posted on the property or on the tree?
What do you think?
Didn't we think it would be like a tag?
No, those tree tags are something different. I don't know where it would be posted. You know, in the
I could see if a tree is going to come down, I could see putting it on the trunk and running tape, like, you know, around the top and bottom around the tree.
Okay.
So be very, you know, obvious. You see the tape around it.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good idea.
It probably has to be laminated or something.
No, this is just like the permit that they get. So they can put it up the day the tree is coming.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So that means Marlene.
On tree, the day the tree will be taken
Right.
down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nobody walks by and goes, oh my God,
Right.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That way, Marlene, you'll only have to worry about trees that are being pruned.
Right.
That, oh, and then I get mixed up. I move stuff around. So we've already talked about 1040 Nautilus. So ignore that one for the minutes. We already did it twice. Tree nursery, Gail, you have some interesting news about the tree nursery update.
Oh my God, I'm so tired. What? I have to remember what my
Give your news. You have two pieces of news. The first one is that there's a spot for you in the Bud Walker community garden where we
Yes, thank you. I got it. Yeah.
Yes.
I heard back from the person who organizes the community garden at Bud Walker Park. We can have one raised bed. And we can, and Bev and I are going to find a time to build some, and Krishna, maybe you can help, Marlene, whoever's interested, to build something to protect the baby trees from squirrels.
Yeah. And I recommend
we're going to be putting in like seedlings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I've been collecting, a bunch of us have been collecting half-gallon cardboard containers.
I have a lot.
In the ground. Krishna has a different method for planting tree seeds.
Yeah.
What you've been doing, Krishna?
I'm trying a new technique this fall, but I got a large a recyclable deposit like bottles, like 3-gallon bottles of Poland Springs, and I put holes in them so that the tree grows through it.
Oh, you mean the roots come out the holes at the bottom?
Well, actually, I plant the seed in the ground, and then when it comes up, I put the bottle over it to protect it from the small animals, bunnies, woodchucks, perhaps squirrels. But I found that the trees I was planting last fall grow so quickly. I don't think that was really that needed. I'm more concerned about the fall when the deer get hungry. It's in upstate New York. I think that's the real predator, or the animal is going to really do the most damage.
They're a problem here too.
So I got a couple hundred tree tubes, but they're a lot of work and they're not cheap. So next fall, I'm using yet another technique, which is to plant roses between each tree to hopefully discourage the deer from coming around.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
They eat the roses too.
They eat the roses too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they get hungry in the winter, they'll
They'll
probably.
Yeah. They'll eat anything.
Yeah.
I had a rose bush that for years I thought just hadn't, had died. I put it somewhere in the middle of my yard. But when I then moved it to another area that had some protection, because I also had something that I knew the deer ate. And all of a sudden I've got this abundant roses. So they've been keeping it well trimmed up until.
Oh, so once the deer got something that they preferred.
Yes.
They
they just ate the roses. They'll eat anything.
Yeah.
I have netting around the whole thing. So
yeah.
At Otter Creek, their method is to basically fence in an area with baby trees to protect them from the deer.
Yeah, but then you have to install the deer fence. So.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
I think let's start with the chicken wire, and if Krishna has success with his technique, we can think about.
Yeah, I think it depends on the species too of tree. Like I planted a lot of black walnut from and the squirrels are relentless. They have a radar for it or something, and they just dig it out. And surprisingly, even though once the tree gets started a little bit, even if they take out the nut, some of them survived. It's kind of surprised.
Very hardy.
A fragment of the root that remained in the ground kept on growing. And now the squirrels leave them alone. Once it's, once the squirrel's no longer interested in that, something else might be nibbling at them, but the squirrels have, they're not interested because there's no nut down there.
They're delicious. They make great ice cream too.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, would you be interested in working on, setting up a raised bed to seedlings?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so we'll be in touch and set up a date when it's not quite as hot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You have another piece of news on this scale, which is today you emailed me about the day school.
Yes. I work at Westchester Summer Day in Orienta. We have a garden there, and I got the okay from the academic year science teacher who takes care of the garden most of the year to use one of the 4 beds as a tree nursery.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not gigantic. We're talking like a 4x8, but still,
that's okay.
It's not ideal, but we could put something in there.
We put something in, and we're going to move them when they're fairly small anyway.
Yeah, and I have a whole lot of red oak, so that's what I'm planting this year, red oak. Red oak seeds, I should say that. I have a whole lot of that.
When we actually have nurseries set up, I will join the American Chestnut Society, and they give me like 6 or 8 of their new chestnuts, and we can try those out too.
That's great. And we can also purchase very young trees for very inexpensive. I mean, like little saplings from the Arbor Tree Foundation. So my thought is to have it staggered, plant some seeds at the same time as we do little, saplings, sprouts, whatever, they're just so little, and then slightly bigger ones. And then every year, move them 1 grade up and start a new kindergarten with seeds. But, this is down the road once the nursery is built up. Right now we have like a bed here, a bed there, and it's, it's something. It'll be good for us to experiment and see what techniques are working.
I think we lost Sarah.
We did.
Okay. So shall we then adjourn to the 11th of August?
Oh, that's everything?
That's everything.
I will send a note to Sally and Robert asking for them to set up that Zoom meeting. I'll do that right now.
Thank you. And it is 8:30 p.m. How neat. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second. That's you, Gail. All in favor? That's me.
Who made the motion? Marlene?
Marlene.
We only have 3 of us. Can we make motions?
In other words, we have to stay open till the 11th?
I think so.
The meeting just ends.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Good night, everyone.
So no motion.
Night, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Krishna.
Bye.
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 Everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.